Hello dear learners, welcome back to my channel. In today's video, we will be seeing an example on XML schema based AOP implementation. In our previous video, we have already seen a theory about this wherein we had learnt about that we will need the AOP advice tags like these, the default advice tags that we have before, after returning, after throwing, after, around, etc. Along with that, we will also need something called as AOP point cut expression, which helps us in defining at which exact point do I want my advice to execute. So you can define that with the help of this expression is what we had seen. Then we had also seen various examples on these expressions, and finally we had seen of what is the minimum configuration that needs to be done in your configuration file for the whole schema based implementation to work. Okay. So without further ado, let's get started with the implementation. But before we can start the implementation, I would like to request all my learners to please watch the video end to end so that you're not missing on any important details in the video and you're gaining maximum out of the video. Thank you. Let's get started with the implementation now. Now beyond this basic configuration, there are other Maven etc. configurations also that we will need, which we will see in the example that we have here. We already have the Spring Maven project example. We will be using the same one to implement the AOP schema based implementation also. So firstly, we will open the pom.xml. This is where we need to do our first configuration for the aspect J viewer. So we already have the Spring AOP implementation done, but for the schema based implementation, we will also need something called as the aspect J viewer implementation. So what we'll do is we will just copy this particular tag and change the values into it. So I'll say this is going to be org.aspectj. Then here we will say aspect J viewer. Make sure it is in small case only. In case if you are not aware what exactly to write here, you can anytime take these values from the Maven website. Okay, and the version that we need here is 1.9.7 is the version that we'll be using. Okay, so this is going to be the Maven configuration that we need. Beyond this, we also need to configure our configuration file in which we need to add additional details. Okay. So we'll go to application.context and we will be adding a few more schemas here for the AOP. So what we'll do is we will copy this particular line and we will change this for AOP. So we'll just say XML ns:/AOP for the namespace or the name of the schema, and we will change this to AOP here, and then inside this for the schema location we will say here we will change it to AOP, that's the path, and here we will say again we will add AOP because that's part of the path, and here we will change it to spring-aop.xsd. So this is the schema definition configuration that we will need. Once this is done, we will create our advice class. So I'll create a new class here and I'll say AOP after advice. Okay, and I'll say finish here and I'll create a method here. Now this is going to be a simple method, so I'll say public void after advice. Okay, and inside this I'll be saying a simple sysout. Again, I'm keeping it simple here because the purpose is not here the logic, but the purpose is how the whole thing works as a unit. So we will say thank you for using our car services and we hope to serve you again. Okay, so something like this I'll be writing, which will come. Again, I go back to application context.xml and I will be defining this bean. So I'll just leave the existing configuration as it is and I'll add a bean tag here. I'll say bean and I'll just make it as a single tag. So I'll just close it here and I'll say ID is going to be after advice. You can name it as whatever you want. Again, for simplicity and easy reference, I'm just naming it like that. Then I say class is equals to com dot learning dot AOP dot AOP after advice. Okay, I'll be saying this. Once this is done, I need to use my scheme, AOP configuration, the AOP aspect AOP config configuration. So the first tag that I use is AOP config. Okay, you can see because we've added this particular schema here, the tags are auto populated. After this will automatically give us AOP aspect. So I need AOP aspect here, and the AOP aspect tag has two attributes. One of them is ID, which we can name this as maybe car advice, something like that, whatever you wish to, car advice. And then here we need to provide a reference. This reference is going to be to the advice that we are referring to. So we will say after advice. This I had already shown you here in the PPT. See, this is how you are defining it here. As you can see, ID and ref. Next we'll define this point cut, and we will be defining after, not before in our case. So this is there. Inside this aspect, then I'll be defining a AOP point cut, which has an expression and it has an ID. ID I'll be giving it as, let's say, car service. Okay, and in expression I'll be writing execution. Okay, and into bracket I'll give a star saying that it's going to be a pattern, and then I'll say com dot learning dot model dot car details, and into bracket 2 dots, and I think that is it. So here I'm being very specific about the class. You can be more general by saying star dot star also here. As of now, let's keep it more specific. Then I'll also show you in the same example. I'll change it to a more generic one and show you that still it is working. Okay, so this is there. Then what do we write after this is done? We say AOP after advice is what we'll be using. The method that we'll be referring to is going to be the after advice method. So we need to take that. Here the method is going to be after advice, and this will have one more thing, that is a point cut ref. So there we will be mentioning this particular name, the ID. We'll say car service here. Okay, so it is going to refer to this particular point cut, and this is where it is going to point to, and this is the method on which this after advice will execute. Okay, so this is how we'll be doing it. As you can see here in the PPT also, that is how we've defined it. We've said execution, and then we've said a star, and then com learning the whole path, then point cut, and you can see method and the point cut reference is referring to the point cut. Okay, so this is what we need. The car class already we have the bean here, so if it needs, it can go and refer, but it is anyways we've given the whole path here, so it will refer to this particular expression. Okay, once all this is done, we need to create a test class for our schema based definition implementation. So I'll just save all this code, and I'll just right click here, and I'll say new, and I'll say class, and I'll name this as AOP schema test, or you can also name it as AOP XML schema test. Okay, because we can also have it using annotation. So we'll say AOP XML schema test. It will have a main, and we'll say finish. Okay, and then here we will say again the same old story. We'll say class path XML schema. So as we've done here, class path XML application context AC is equals to, so we'll say class path XML application context AC. So I need to import this class path XML application context. Okay, AC is equals to new class path XML application context and here in the bracket we will be passing in double quotes application context dot XML, and then we will say AC dot get bean. Okay, and inside this I'll be saying car, that is the bean that it will refer to, and I'll say car is equals to typecast it to car, and we'll be importing the car class from com.learning.model, and then I can say car details. Okay, so it will call that particular method. So let's just try to run this particular code and see how it's working, what exactly it is giving us as an input. So let's just try to run this code and see what comes. So as you can see, the car details are definitely coming. Car details, tire type is tube, and along with that what we had written in the after advice, thank you for using our car services, we hope to serve you again, is also coming. So you can see that coming here. So this is how the example works. I've shown you step-by-step approach of everything, starting from the Maven configuration to the XML file configurations that we need, to the class and to the test also. So that is it for today. In case if you have any questions, any doubts, any feedback that you want to share, please share that in the comments section. Also, you can share your feedback or whatever you want to express in the community section also, wherein we can have further more discussions happening. And please like my video if you like my content, share it with your family and friends, and please subscribe to my channel so that you get notified for every video that I'm creating and you can gain maximum benefit from it. That is it for today. Thank you. Bye bye.